Liverpool actually finished in third place in the Premier League. Man City won the league and Spurs were in second place. Liverpool had a goal difference of 34 and they finished in third. Arne Slot is preparing to take over at Liverpool, and in this video we're going to look at his tactical philosophy and what to expect as he takes over at Anfield. I've gone on to recreate his tactic in Football Manager 2024, and we're currently using Feyenoord, and I've also gone on to test out the tactic with Liverpool and they had slightly different results. So I am expecting that Arne Slot is going to have a slightly difficult job when he goes over to Liverpool. If we look at what is happening here with Feyenoord, they came second in the Dutch Eredivisie even though they were first for most of the season, and they still have the highest goal difference with 50. And if we look at the competition stats, they did go on to win the Johan Cruyff Schal. They went on and got knocked out from the Europa League, and also in the Champions League they finished in third place. Real Madrid was in their group, so that's probably why. But without wasting any more time, we're going to look at Arne Slot's tactical philosophy and why I feel like it might be difficult for him to succeed at Liverpool. But if you look at the way Arne Slot actually sets up his team, he has a 4-2-3-1 system, and the team is very different from how Jurgen Klopp prefers to play at Liverpool. Liverpool has a high pressing, high transition style of play, whereas Arne Slot prefers a more patient build up, quite similar to what Manchester City do. And I do feel like trying to beat Man City at their own game is going to be a difficult challenge, especially for a new manager that is just coming into the Premier League. Now, the team enjoys playing out from the back, so you can see I have ball playing defenders selected in here, and they have been asked to close down more. Now, it's the first time I've actually gone on to try this in Football Manager, but I kid you not, in Arne Slot's philosophy, everybody has the instruction to actually go on to press. So even the centre backs are not really trying to hold their shape and try to protect the defense. They're going to actually push high up and try to win possession. They're going to trigger their press and try to win a position and try to win the ball back from the opposition. One similar attribute that he does have is the wing back on the right. This player tends to cut inside, so it's kind of a role that is going to suit Trent Alexander-Arnold really. So it's a role that is going to suit Trent Alexander-Arnold pretty well. They are more direct passing, of course, take more risks, and of course cut inside with the ball. While and you can also see they're closing down more. Everybody is really responsible for closing down. On the left hand side, the fullback here is quite adventurous, so he's going to be the one holding the width on that side. He's also going to be closing down on tackling harder. Before we get into the front four, I'm going to talk about the defensive midfielders. Now, these players are not holding midfielders in any way. They have the ability to actually move up and down and move all around the field. So that's why I opted for a roaming playmaker. At first, I started with two roaming playmakers, but I noticed that having a deep line playmaker on support duty was kind of helpful to just not allow the game fall into chaos, because Football Manager can punish you like that. Sometimes the defensive midfielder kind of slot into the space between the two centre halves, so it's quite unique, the system that Arne Slot goes on to use. The wide attackers have slightly different roles. They're both inverted wingers because they will end up in the number 10 slot anyway. But you have an inverted winger here on the right hand side, and he's going to sit narrower because I'm forcing that instruction. There's a lot of rotation between the right midfielder, that's the inverted winger here, and then the number 10, which I'm going to explain why he's a shadow striker. These players tend to interchange a lot between themselves, and the winger on the left hand side, he's an inverted winger and he's going to take more risk and of course stay wider. The reason why he's staying wider, although he's going to cut inside and try to take shots and try to create chances, he's mainly supposed to hold the width. So what's happening is that the team is stretching the pitch on the left hand side while they're creating a lot of havoc on the right and cutting inside into the opposition's territory using the right wing. About the number 10, it's more like an attacking midfielder and a playmaker that has the ability to go wherever he wants. But I'm opting for the shadow striker because this player has the ability to actually trigger press and try to force the opposition off the ball. If you see the shadow striker's instruction here, it says that he pushes into goal scoring positions as the ball moves into the final third, looking to close down the opposition's defenders when they're out of possession. So that's why I opted for this shadow striker role. And he also has the room from position instruction, as you can see here. So he is going to be swapping positions with the inverted winger on the right hand side. The striker I opted for a pressing forward on support so he can be part of the build-up is the one role that I know is very aggressive but also has the ability to drop into the spaces and also hassle the opposition and try to win the ball back. So that's why we have the pressing forward in there. There's a lot of pressing in this team I need to mention. And if we look at the tactic B, instead of using a deep line playmaker in the defensive midfield, I opted for a roaming playmaker both on support duty. This is when you're playing against bigger teams. And we're going to look at the team instructions in a bit. They're slightly different too. When the team is in possession, you can see the possession-based style of plays in there. They're not running at defense in any way. They're dribbling less, and they're also stretching the pitch a bit. They're also going to play out of defense, but it's not something that I forced. You're going to look at that in the in transition instructions. There's lower tempo, shorter passing, and of course, working the ball into the box. In transition, the goalkeeper is going to distribute the ball to the centre backs and he's going to take short kicks, but he's not slowing the pace down or distributing it quickly. He's just, when you have possession of the ball, think correctly and then try to distribute it to your centre backs or your fullbacks. The counter press is in there, but the team has not been forced to counter attack in any way because Arne Slot's team, although the counter is going to be on, when it's on, they can go on to take it, but it's not an instruction that you're going to force. I know it's kind of OP to do that in Football Manager, but it wasn't really necessary in this case. We're trying to recreate his system. Now, out of possession, it's just a high press. The team is also going to press often, but it's just the normal high defensive line and a high press. There's no need to go for a much higher defensive line, as much as I was tempted to do that. In situations where you're facing a bigger team, you're only going to want to switch it to a balanced mentality. I've also spoken about the roaming playmaker instructions. These are the only two tweaks. Those are the only rules that I went on to tweak for the balanced bigger team tactic. So that's kind of how the game is shaped up. Like I mentioned, how Liverpool might not have it very easy with this tactic. We're going to see how well they did. The other team that I went on to test out didn't really do so well. Liverpool actually finished in third place in the Premier League. Man City won the league and Spurs were in second place. Liverpool had a goal difference of 34 and they finished in third. They had 75 points, and if you look at the competition stab, they went on to win the Europa League. They did get knocked out from the FA Cup and the Carabao Cup, but in the league, I didn't really expect them to lose up to 11 games the way they did, but it's really shocking. And I do expect that Liverpool are going to struggle when they're not under Jurgen Klopp's management. I think that's actually what's going to happen. But I do hope that they're able to do better than I'm anticipating, but I still see that it's going to be a huge struggle when Arne Slot goes on to take over at Liverpool. So I'm going to attach a link to this tactic in the description in case you want to test it out and see how it works out for you. You can go ahead and tweak it if you want, and you can let me know in the comment section what possible tweaks you likely make to the tactic. So I'll catch you with more Football Manager tactic videos like this. And if you're interested in more tactic videos or just Football Manager guides to help you win more games and win more trophies on FM 2024, you can check out my channel for more videos. Enjoy Football Manager. I'll see you in the next video.